Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is the first TBR of 2021. I'm doing my January TBR. So if you're new here, the way that I choose my monthly TBRs is that every month I choose a bunch of challenges out of my TBR jar. This has a whole range of book prompts to help me choose what books to read that month. But first, let's check in with how I did in December. Of the books from my TBR, I read 5. So let me go through quickly what I rated all these and just like my general thoughts. I want to say I filmed a reading vlog for these books. I wanted to do like a reading my favorite romance authors' books. And so I read these 5 books, but right before Christmas, I hit my chin on my parents' dog like really hard and my whole face got swollen. I was in a lot of pain and I took a lot of painkillers and I accidentally ended up deleting all of the footage. I meant to import it into my computer, but I was just like, I wasn't thinking clearly and I accidentally deleted all of it. So there is no vlog for these books. I apologize, but I'll quickly run through my thoughts. But like just as a little sneak peek, all of these books are gonna show up on my favorite romances of 2020 list. So first we have Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert. I loved this book. I gave it 5 stars. I think this might be my new favorite Talia Hibbert book ever. I was obsessed with the romance between this. I felt like if you combined the 2 main characters into one person, that would be me. I related to them so much. I always find Talia Hibbert's books extremely relatable, but this one just hit me on a totally other level. And I really loved how the conflict in this one was more internal and not just like some sort of like dumb miscommunication. There was a little bit of miscommunication, but it was mostly like internal conflicts that both of them were working on. Then I read the first 2 books in the Experiment in Terror series by Karina Halley. So we have Dark House and Red Fox. You guys, I'm obsessed with this series. I would have binged the entire thing had I not gotten busy, but this series is literally everything that I've ever wanted. It is a horror romance series. It's basically following these 2 people who are filming a ghost hunting television show. So we have the girl who is like, has some sort of connection to ghosts, like she can see ghosts, they're very drawn to her. And then we have the guy who is the cameraman and like the producer, and he sets up like all of these situations and they just go and they film them, and oh my god, it is so good. There is such a slow burn romance. If you like slow burn romance that is drawn out through a series, you're gonna die over this. And it's definitely like pretty scary. Like there were some moments that I was like, oh my god. I got a little freaked out, and I don't really get scared reading horror. So yeah, this first one followed a lighthouse that is haunted, and then the second one was about shapeshifters, skinwalkers. They were just so good. I cannot wait to read the rest of the series. So I think I rated both of these 4 stars. Then I read Royally Matched by Emma Chase. This is the second book in this royalty series, and this one is about the prince, and he basically has like a bachelor style reality dating show to find his wife, and the main character is actually not a contestant on the show. Her sister is, and she's just like tagging along, and her and the prince end up falling for each other. I loved this book. I think I loved it even more than the first one because I just loved the main character. I related to her a lot. She had a lot of anxiety and I relate. Like she talked about how whenever she has to be in the spotlight or like give presentations or give speeches, she literally like blacks out, and that is completely me. And I just really loved how sweet the prince was to her. It had that trope of like he is kind of like a playboy with everybody else, but like so sweet with her. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I think I gave this 4 stars. And then lastly, I read Zenny by Rebecca Weatherspoon, and I gave this 5 stars. I loved it. It is such a great arranged marriage romance. Both of the people in the couple are bi. I really loved Zenny. And I think that Rebecca Weatherspoon just does a really great job at making books feel very light and fun, but also tackling emotional topics. So this dealt a lot with grief, and I just thought it was fantastic. So yeah, those were the 5 books that I did read. Also hosted Smutathon in December, so I read 8 books during that, and I have a whole vlog up for it if you want to know my thoughts on all of them. I'm just gonna put a picture here of everything that I read. It was a lot and I don't really want to go through all of them again, so if you're interested in that, I will link that vlog. So then I had planned to read these 3 books But like I said, I hit my face and I was just like not able to focus on anything. So I didn't end up getting to These Violent Delights. I did read like the first 30 pages of this and I was really enjoying it. So I want to come back to this at some point. And then Written in the Stars and The Lady Upstairs, I didn't even attempt. So December was kind of a fail, but it's fine. We're moving on. It's a new year. The slate is wiped clean. So now we are going to choose my TBR. So again, to let you guys know how I do this, basically every time I'm filming my TBR, I pull out a bunch of books that are just kind of like at the top of my radar. Either they're ones that I know I want to get to in that month, or they're ones that I'm just the most excited by at the moment. So the first book I know for sure I'll be reading, so hopefully I will be able to pick a prompt that it fits for, and that is The Winter Witch by Katherine Arden. This is the final book in the Winter Night trilogy. I'm currently reading the second book. I haven't finished it yet, but we are having the live show on January 9th. So I will have The Girl in the Tower done by then, and then I will get to move on to the final book. So to remind everybody, here is a list of the challenges that are in this jar, and I'm just gonna start choosing them. First challenge of 2021 is Sci-Fi. I don't know if I'm going to film this video, but one of my goals for 2021 is to read more sci-fi because, as we discovered in 2020, I apparently love sci-fi and I never knew it. The only thing on here that's sci-fi is Remote Control by Nettie Okrafor, which is perfect because this is an arc that comes out in January and I really wanted to get to it. So this is the author of Binti, which is a sci-fi novella series that I really enjoyed. So I've been super excited for this. So it says, the day Fatima forgot her name, death paid a visit. From this moment on, she would be known as Sankofa, a name that meant nothing to anyone but her, the only tie to her family and her past. Her touch is death, and with a glance, a town can fall. And she walks alone except for her fox companion. This sounds super cool. Okay. Very excited. I'm so glad I picked this. All right, the next one is standalone. I'm gonna go with The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. This is a horror book that I meant to read this last year, and I'm pretty sure it's a standalone. Most horror tend to be standalones. And this one I just feel like got so much buzz. I can't remember, I don't think this won the Goodreads award for horror. I think Mexican Gothic did, but I feel like this one was like one of the horror books next to Mexican Gothic that I feel like got so much attention. So basically this is by an Indigenous author and it follows it follows four American Indian men after a disturbing event from their youth puts them in a desperate struggle for their lives. So I think from what I know about this is that they might have, I think that they killed maybe an animal or like an indigenous spirit when they were on like a hunting trip, and then now it's come back for revenge against them. I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but it says it's a tale of revenge, cultural identity, and the cost of breaking from tradition. It sounds amazing. I'm so excited and I just cannot wait to know what the hype is all about. Also, another one of my goals for 2021 was to read more books from Indigenous authors because I realized other than Rebecca Roanhorse, I don't think I've read that many. So if you have recommendations for me, I already have Elatsue back here, but if you have other recommendations of books by Indigenous authors, let me know. All right, the next one is published this year. I'm still gonna go with 2020 because obviously the day that I'm filming this is New Year's Eve. I feel like a lot of these were published in 2020. I'm gonna go with The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. This book sounds so up my alley. Basically, it's about this library that houses all of the choices that anyone has ever made, and this one woman gets the opportunity to go to the library and go to specific points in her life where she made a big decision and live out a different option. It sounds great. I love books with alternate realities and timelines and stuff like that, and I feel like any book that has library in the title is just immediately my kind of thing. So I'm excited. I've been hearing amazing things about this. All right, let's pick this one, ARC. So that is an advanced reader copy. None of these are ARCs, but I do have somewhere, I cannot find it, I have a copy of Across the Green Grass Field by Sean McGuire, which is the 6th book in the Wayward Children series. I really want to read that. Obviously, this is my all-time favorite series. Last year, I did a whole reread of the first 5 books, and from what I know, this 6th book is the first one that is following entirely new characters, so it could be a new entry point into the series. So I'm very excited for it. So yeah, let's pick that one, because I was already wanting to read it this month. Next we have Booktuber's favorite. So I'm going to pick The Winter Witch by Katherine Arden, specifically because Megan from Meg with Books, this is her favorite book series, and she's the one that is hosting the read-along that I have been a part of for this series. So the book that we are reading in January is the 3rd and final one, and I'm very excited. So I'm halfway through the 2nd book, and I just cannot even imagine like where the series is gonna go. And from what Megan has said, like every single book just gets bigger and more expansive. So I'm very excited to see how the trilogy concludes. Next, let's do this one, Young Adult, which is I didn't read a lot of young adult last year. Let's pick this one, Foul is Fair by Hannah Capin. This book is not one that I would normally pick up, but it sounds very interesting. It has a lot of things that I really love in books. So one, it is a Shakespeare retelling. It is a retelling of Macbeth, which is actually my favorite Shakespeare play. And then it is also a revenge story. So it follows a girl who was sexually assaulted at a party, and now she sets out to get revenge on the guys who did it. And I believe that she is like the Lady Macbeth character, and she's going to be trying to influence another character to commit murders of the people who were responsible, which just sounds great. I love revenge stories so much, so I'm very excited for this. All right, so let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I'm gonna stop there. So I feel like I have a really good selection of books. These are the ones on my TBR, plus Across the Green Grass Field. We have a fantasy, a sci-fi, a horror, I don't really know what the Midnight Library would categorize as, like alternate realities, a contemporary retelling, and then another fantasy. We love a mixture of things. So that is gonna be it for my TBR. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!